for all of us at NFL Network and NFL Films. The NFL 100 season, the NFL 100 programming, I guess, what would you say, the programming, the panoply of NFL 100 programming that all season long we've been taking in and enjoying. And that's not just on NFL Network. The ESPN Plus show that Peyton Manning's done, that's been a ton of fun. I mean, there's been NFL 100 programming everywhere. And with all due respect, the centerpiece of that programming is tonight. It starts tonight, 6 weeks long, every Friday night, 8 Eastern time, slowly but surely, the reveal of the NFL 100 all-time team, 100 spaces, players, including special teams and coaches, will be named over a 6-week reveal. And I'm honored to have hosted it. It was shot at NFL Films in May 6th and 7th. And Chris Collinsworth is one of the analysts helping reveal and talking about what certain players did back in the day or are still doing. There are current players on the NFL 100 team, not a lot, but there are. And Bill Belichick. I won't forget, it was last January, coming off of the set after one of the many shows that we did, we do every year previewing NFL Game Day morning right up to kickoff of a divisional playoff series and stuff like that. At any rate, we've had many moments at the NFL Network. I won't forget, I come off the set, Mike Muriano, our major domo at the NFL Network, been there since day one. He comes up to me and he says, hey, the NFL 100 season's coming up. And we're thinking of doing a really special show that's the centerpiece of everything for the NFL 100 all-time team. And we'd love for you to host it. Would require you to get out of the chair of, your show, meaning this one, for a couple days. And I don't know when we're going to, I'm like, when would we shoot it? I don't know. It depends on the schedule of one of the analysts that we're hoping to get. And I literally thought to myself in the back of my head, I'm like, come on, we're all busy in the NFL world. I mean, if somebody can't tell in January that if you got some time in May or June, I mean, what? Honestly, did think to myself in the back of my head, who is this person? So I said, I'm like, who is this we're talking about? And he said the words Bill Belichick. And I thought I literally stopped in my tracks, stopped walking. I'm like, what? Did you? And he goes, yeah, he's apparently really interested in doing it. He's on the selection committee for the team and would really, because, he respects NFL Films. And I did get the Belichick check mark. Like he would be willing to do a show. Like who would he be hosting it? They mentioned me and got the check mark, which was nice. And he said he's really considered doing it. And we did it. And he did it. And Collinsworth did it. And it was unbelievable. And when you see Bill Belichick tonight, you will see an effusive, knowledgeable historian and absolute head over heels lover of football. And it is contagious. You will love it. And you will not be able to get enough of it. Now, I'm sure you've heard it in other places, including this one. Oh, yeah, okay, Belichick is not like he used to be. Or like he's not the guy that I see on the podium. I get it. How? Okay. You will see over one of the next 2 episodes, Collinsworth asks Belichick, where does his knowledge of all these older players come from? Because he is so prepared and so knowledgeable. The older players, the 30s and there are players from the 30s and 40s that are on this team. And the way we handle it on the show is we just handed it off to Belichick to do a film session with what's called the Bellustrator. Patriots fans know what this is. He gets on the coach's clicker with Zolak on a local show that he does every week in the New England area. And you see he's amazing when he's on the coach's clicker. Sometimes those videos go viral a little bit. So we put him on the clicker, and he goes and runs the film of these older players that the NFL Films folks dive into their vast archive and pull out all the grainy film and footage of. And he's like, yeah, this person was a two-way player. This person was this person was that. And we're like, okay, we trust you. We got it. But then when it comes to the 50s and 60s, this is when he started falling in love with football, just like everybody else. A kid might not have been wanting to ask his dad, can I go see Frozen 2? But a kid. So Collinsworth asks Belichick, where does your knowledge of all these players in the 50s and 60s come from? And his response stopped us in our tracks, and I'll tell it to you here. Football cards. Collecting football cards.
Wow. And like reading the stats and the info on the cards.
Football cards.
Oh, my goodness.
So my follow-up question was a simple one. Do you still have them?
Exactly.
He says yes. My mother hasn't thrown them out. My mother wouldn't throw them out. And I'm like, so Belichick's football cards are in a box somewhere? And his response, I don't want to give up the answer to that. You'll have to tune in. But that's, again, you don't hear that ever. Mm-mm. But he breathes and lives it and loves it and got exposed to it in a way we all did. Football cards or NFL Films or just a love of watching the game. And all of that is on display. He didn't go when I asked a follow-up question like, do you still have them? He didn't even like, we're moving on to Johnny Unitas,
Yeah. Are you
and
worried or hopeful that this is going to make people see Bill in a different light and maybe become fans of him?
Well, it's not. Look,
I'm just saying, like, do you get the impression that people are going to come away from this and think, I kind of like that guy now?
I think you have no choice but to feel that way. How about that? And I know that is telling people what they should think. Whatever you think of him or the team or the conduct of the team throughout the years that they have now strung together, 19 straight winning seasons. Whatever you think, this guy is a fantastic conveyor of the greatness of the sport and the history of the sport and the passion of the sport. The only time I saw the moving on to Cincinnati Belichick, and I'm not telling any tales out of school about who's made it, who's not. Like last night's reveal was Jim Brown. Okay.
Obviously.
Coaches are on the list. Can you name two right off the top of your head? Just name two that we've discussed. One of them we're talking about.
Right, Bill and probably Vince Lombardi.
Correct. So when it came time for Bill's name to be announced, it was an interesting conversation, but he did allow for a human side in a way that you wouldn't think that if you asked him about himself. But when it came for Lombardi, and I asked him, hey, you must hear that you're referred to as the modern-day Lombardi. What do you think of when you hear that? It was as if we were moving on to Cincinnati on the spot. Oh. And we even had a little bit of fun. I don't know if it makes the final cut about, now there's the Bill that we know. And we felt comfortable to be able to say that.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.